What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. New details are emerging about the alleged shooter in an apparent assassination attempt on U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. The suspect was reportedly a staunch supporter of Ukraine and Taiwan. Joyce Dunn reports.
Investigations are underway into this man, 58-year-old Ryan Routh, who allegedly staged an assassination attempt targeting U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. Routh was supposedly lying in the bushes with an AK-47-style assault rifle, coming just a few hundred yards away from the former president while he was golfing in Florida. Routh fired no shots before being found and detained. Now, new details about his motivations. A former Trump supporter with a long digital trail and strong views on U.S. geopolitical ties.
We're going through media reports and public statements he made that he wanted to recruit Afghan soldiers and others to fight for Ukraine.
The suspect denounced Trump on social media and in a self-published book for his failure to support Ukraine against Russia's invasion. Routh was also vocal about boosting Taiwan's defenses against China. He's listed on this website named Taiwan Foreign Legion as the main contact for international volunteers, an unofficial group that claims to recruit fighters for Taiwan in the event of a war with China, akin to Routh's proclaimed mission to support Kyiv.
You know, we need thousands and thousands and thousands of people here fighting with the Ukrainians.
Taiwan's defense ministry declined to comment on Routh and the pro-Taiwan website. Meanwhile, with less than 50 days to go until the presidential election, security is a top concern. This is the second apparent attempt to assassinate Trump. 2 months ago, a gunman opened fire at a Pennsylvania rally, hitting the Republican candidate in the ear, the security failure prompting a leadership reshuffle in the U.S. Secret Service.
We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model. There could be another geopolitical event that could put the United States into a kinetic conflict.
Choosing to politicize the alleged shooting attempt, Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, hit out at their Democrat counterparts.
No one has tried to kill Kamala Harris in the last couple of months, and 2 people now have tried to kill Donald Trump in the last couple of months. I'd say that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric.
Both U.S. President Joe Biden and Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris have condemned the latest reported attempt on Trump's life, saying there is no place for political violence in the United States, a country that has positioned itself as a beacon of democracy, now worried about having not just free and fair elections, but a safe one. Klein Wong and Joyce Dunn for TaiwanPlus.
A major cleanup is underway in Shanghai after Typhoon Bebinca tore through the Chinese megacity. The tropical cyclone is the strongest to hit the region in 75 years. Rosie Greninger reports.
A trail of destruction across Shanghai in the wake of Typhoon Bebinca. With winds reaching 150 kilometers per hour, it was the strongest tropical storm to hit the city in 75 years. Bringing torrential rainfall of up to 50 millimeters in just 30 minutes.
Now, 走到台湾呢，就是那风吹了，走路稍微有一点困难嘛，但是不至于完全走不了。然后就是有点小型路上可能吹点风，树枝之类的东西，小心被砸到而已。
At least one person was injured by a falling tree. More than 1,800 trees were uprooted, and at least 53 hectares of farmland flooded. 30,000 households were left without power, and 400,000 people were forced to evacuate. The rest of the city's 25 million population told to stay indoors under a red alert. But for some, the storm was no cause of concern.
听讲这是大风是很厉害的，据说是49年以来最大的一次。不过我觉得无所谓，因为我原来当海军的，在海上乘风破浪，天天跟雨风打交道的，所以我今天84岁，也出来跑跑看看。
For others, it caused major disruptions to travel plans over China's 3-day Mid-Autumn Festival, with thousands of flight, train and ferry services suspended.
We are coming from Australia. We came back to visit our family during the public holidays, and then we knew that Typhoon is coming, so we rescheduled our train from Monday to Sunday, so we can get back to my husband's hometown in Fujian safely.
But with the city no stranger to typhoons, this being the 13th this year, authorities say they were well prepared to avert disaster, with more than 60,000 emergency responders on standby.
这沙滩沿线、海地沿线投放警力，定时进行巡逻，遇到易积水的点位及时进行这个疏通。同时对这个海地沿线加强视频巡逻，遇突发情况及时进行处置。
More significant rainfall is expected here. But as the storm weakens and moves inland, emergency services are already beginning the cleanup to allow this normally bustling financial hub to resume business as soon as possible. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
A driver who veered into oncoming traffic in the northern city of Hsinchu has killed one woman and left 5 others, including a 4-year-old child, in a hospital. The driver apparently lost control of the vehicle and collided with a scooter rider and pedestrian who were crossing the street. Police found suspected drugs in the vehicle along with a prop gun. The driver was arrested at the scene while a passenger fled on foot. A broken pipeline in the northern city of Keelung has polluted a stream, leaving people living nearby reeling from the smell. The CPC Corporation, Taiwan's state-run oil refiner, had called in a contractor to repair a minor leak earlier in the week. However, officials say the contractor accidentally further damaged the line and it began leaking oil into a nearby stream. Keelung environment officials have given CPC 7 days to clean up the spill and may fine the company up to $100,000. Taiwan's military has confirmed a maintenance deal for U.S.-made aircraft parts worth $228 million. Taiwan will send parts to the United States to be repaired and refurbished, then returned. It's the 16th arms sale under the Biden administration, with many sales aimed at maintaining and supporting Taiwan's current fleet of aircraft. For more on this, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Kelly Greco, a security analyst with the Stimson Center in Washington, D.C.
Kelly, this latest arms sale is about $228 million worth of spare parts and maintenance. It's not the biggest sale in terms of value, but how important are these parts for Taiwan's military?
I mean, it is actually very important in the sense of sustaining your ability to use these aircraft. The F16 is an older aircraft, particularly for Taiwan. But what we've seen is that we've been able to really extend the life of these kinds of airframes. And the way you do that is with regular maintenance and the ability to have parts that you're able to replenish, right? You can replenish parts as needed, and then you're able to really sustain the life of these aircraft. I mean, you just look at the United States with how long it's been flying some B-52s, for example.
Well, Taiwan has been trying to boost its defense against China, buying fighter jets from the U.S. like F-16s. But when you look at the way that Taiwan's Air Force is structured right now, is it in a good position to protect its skies?
No, I mean, I don't think Taiwan is in a good position in terms of air power, in terms of its existing investments. When you look at Taiwan's fundamental problem, it is that it is going to always be at a disadvantage quantitatively against the Chinese. That's just a reality. It is also, located so close to the mainland that it's going to be under very severe missile threats. And so you can have the best aircraft in the world, but you need to be able to get those aircraft up off the runways. And even with hardened shelters, which Taiwan has some of these, I don't really see how these fighters are going to be useful, particularly early in a conflict when China has the capacity to essentially crater runways every 4-8 hours for days, weeks at a time.
So given that, then, what should Taiwan's military be buying, or what does it need to do in order to make sure that it can have a robust defense against China?
And when I look at Taiwan's situation, it really needs to be able to contest the airspace. So it can't rely on fighters alone to try to provide some kind of air superiority bubble over Taiwan. In fact, that's going to be really difficult to do just because of the number of Chinese aircraft and, trying to get all these aircraft in the air in wartime conditions. What it really needs is to be able to contest that airspace so China doesn't have air superiority over Taiwan. And that requires largely a different kind of air force than one that is organized primarily around small number of high-end fighter aircraft. It needs large numbers of drones of all different types and ranges. It needs lots of anti-air missiles. And the question Taiwan should really ask itself is, for every dollar that it might spend on a new fighter aircraft, is that dollar better off being spent on a small number of cheap things?
That was Kelly Greco, a security analyst with the Stimson Center in Washington, D.C. Bank fraud is in the government's sights with an extra budget of hundreds of millions of US dollars set aside for tackling scams next year. But officials say money alone will not be enough and that high-tech solutions are needed. John Van Trieste has this report.
想请问一下，今天领这笔款项的用途是什么呢?
A bit of role play with a serious purpose. This bank teller has a suspicious customer who can't explain why he wants to withdraw over $20,000 US dollars. Using her training, she figures out this man is a scam artist, and it's not long until police are on the scene to arrest him. In the audience at this demonstration are Premier Zhou Rongtai and Financial Supervisory Commission official Tong Zhongchang. Taiwan seeing a surge in scams and fraud. From mid-2022 to mid-2023, fraudsters made off with nearly 1% of the national GDP. But while bank accounts aren't the main target, officials are still determined to keep them safe. Bankers say their anti-fraud measures work most of the time.
被锁控的账户有高达90%在之后变成警示账户或其他不法可疑账户，让诈团无法操控这些账户。
But it's that 10% that can be lucrative, and Taiwan is full of accounts ripe for criminals to try and access. That's because Taiwanese employers usually have a preferred bank that new hires have to open an account with to get paid. So people who change jobs frequently may end up with many accounts they don't bother to close. Those abandoned accounts can then be taken over by fraudsters, with the original account holders none the wiser. To help fight the problem, the government set aside over $200 million US dollars for next year. But officials say money won't be enough. They want closer cooperation between banks and customers, and they seek high-tech solutions as well.
AI 的导入，我们认为是重中之重。请金融机构，那必须要在资讯方面，在这个科技打诈方面要能够导入之外，那我们也鼓励金融机构，那能够以联防的方式做主诈，应该最有力的一个利器。
It may not be easy for banks to pull this off. In recent years, fraud has proved to be a sticky problem, with new rings popping up when old ones are busted, and no shortage of inventive new scams. But officials are still making a clampdown on fraud a priority. Scott Huang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Team Taiwan has taken home 2 gold and 3 silver medals in an international competition known as the Skills Olympics. Young people from all over the world gathered in France to compete in technical and trade skills like plumbing, welding, and hairdressing in the 2024 World Skills Competition. Taiwan won gold in cabinet making and refrigeration and air conditioning. Skilled Taiwanese competitors also earned 3 silvers and 10 bronzes. Is it dangerous for pets to travel in the cargo hold when they catch a flight? Pet owners in Taiwan think so, and they've launched a petition to get the rule changed. Right now, all non-service animals have to travel with the baggage and cargo below deck, and pet owners say that's too dangerous on international flights. Over 5,000 people have signed an online petition to get this changed, and that's enough to get an official response. Aviation authorities have now called on Taiwanese airlines to look into the practices of foreign carriers. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, check out these happy horsing riders with their wooden stick horses galloping through Frankfurt for the first time. I'm Yvonne Young. Take care, and I'll see you next time.